Hi guys. Hello, hello. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy beginning of a completely new decade in the 20s. 2020. Super exciting. I wanted to open up this month's videos by addressing 2020 and some of the more common aspects that we're going to see about 2020, just so we're all a little bit more informed, okay? So, to start off in regards to 2020, this is a very practical year. I think that's what I would call 2020, just as a general summary. It's a very practical year. Okay. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of Earth energy, a lot of planetary energy going on in the sign of Capricorn. We have Jupiter, we have Saturn, we have eclipses, and we have quite a few eclipses this year too, by the way. We have the South Node, we have Pluto going all through the sign of Capricorn. So, for those of us who like to make New Year's resolutions, this is a great year to actually carry those resolutions through. So, you know how sometimes it is that we have all these aspirations of all these things that we want to do, whether it be like a fitness routine or a diet or all these New Year's resolutions that we have, and you'll notice that sometimes throughout the year those can kind of trail off, or we can get sidetracked or whatever else, and so that way sometimes New Year's resolutions can kind of turn into a little bit of a joke after a while. This is really not a year where those New Year's resolutions are a joke. This is a year where you can actually have the willpower and the steadfastness and the consistency to keep up with some of those things that you're wanting to bring into your life. Right at the end of 2019, and we're talking about December 25th and December 26th, we are going to have an eclipse in the sign of Capricorn that's kind of going to give us a little bit of a feel of what the upcoming year is going to be like. And it's just going to give us that extra push that we need to start some of those things that we've had in the back of our mind, that we've been wanting to do. But for some reason, there's been, oh, I don't have enough time, or like, oh, I can't really fit that into my schedule, or I don't have the motivation to do that, or that's not possible with my family's schedule and all this other going on for me to do that, to pursue that. Oh, I can't afford that. There's all these things, there's all these doubts been going on in our mind about why we can't pursue a goal or something that we've been really wanting to do, something that we know that would be good for us, right? So this eclipse coming in on the 25th on the West Coast, and more on the East Coast is going to be more like, possibly on the 26th, but right around there. Some people are already feeling this energy. I know I am. And it's like that push to really start something new and get rid of any kind of self-doubt talk that we've been telling ourselves in regards to starting new goals, in regards to starting to be motivated to take on certain routines, certain healthy routines. And that's what 2020 is really about. So when I call 2020 a practical year, it's about forming healthy boundaries, healthy routines, and something that you're able to consistently do, right? Something that's feasible, something where you can do it on a daily basis, right? Starting a new routine, a new cycle, and being consistent with it, putting in the hard work with it. So another mistake that we make in regards to New Year's resolutions is that we're so gung-ho about it. And I'll give you an example, right? Diet. Diet is a huge New Year's resolution where people, tend to start to fade out a little bit throughout the year and fail to be consistent with it. And part of the reason that is because we go into it and we're too extreme. we're too extreme about it, right? We want quick results. We're so gung-ho about it that we just want to jump in and we take it too far to where it becomes unrealistic and unattainable. Okay, so I really want to caution you about that in the upcoming year, 2020. Like I said, I'm going to call 2020 the year of practical, being practical, right? Doing something that's realistic, starting to change certain habits, little things that you can do, little routines on a daily basis where, it's not obtainable, right? It's something that you can keep up with. It's something that you can continue to do and get yourself into good habits moving forward. Really crucial, really crucial. And you know what? That also takes planning. I would have to say that for those of you who are more kind of like fly by the seat of their pants, spontaneous, go with the flow, let's just see what happens type of people, this might be a difficult year for you. This type of energy is asking you to focus on and to plan. And quite frankly, I think this is an excellent year to start out a new decade, because if we're making healthy changes and we're thinking practically and we're slowly working towards our objectives, then that is a good foundation to start for what we want coming up for the next 10 years. Okay. So where do we see ourselves 10 years from now? Okay. Where do we want to be? What are some goals that we have? And what can we do on a daily basis? What kind of routines, what kind of changes can we make in our routines to slowly work towards achieving that goal? And that's really what it's about. Capricorn is really about consistency and putting in the work and putting in the time. And it's really obtainable this year in 2020. The other thing I think that's really important to bring up to you guys in regards to 2020 is it's not a time to be frivolous, okay? It's not a time to be frivolous with money. If anything, it's a time to work on perhaps like saving money, paying off debt. I wouldn't suggest using credit cards this year if you can prevent it. I would consider, if you can do it, possibly paying off debt if you can, paying off those credit cards. I just wouldn't do a lot of acquiring of new debt this year. This is a year more where you are working on being more self-sufficient, right? Instead of relying on creditors to be able to help you live the kind of life that, you feel like you want to. This year is about working with what we already have. Okay, so not necessarily about, just, being flamboyant and like a kid in a candy shop saying, oh, I need a new vehicle, or, oh, I need this, or I want this. It's really about taking a look at what you have, being satisfied with what you have, being appreciative with what you have, and being able to use what you have and your current abilities to be able to produce something more. So there's also a lot of creativity that comes into this year when it comes down to that. So yeah, not a great year to be frivolous with money. And instead of living over and above our means, we need to think about even maybe living even a little bit below our means, right? Where can we save money on our finances? Where can we nip and tuck a little bit? Can we start using coupons for grocery shopping, right? What kind of extras are we getting in regards to groceries that we really don't need to get? How can we save some money on some monthly bills, right? Are there ways that we can save money there? Things like that. Can we afford to put even like $10 a month into a savings account? Anything is better than nothing. And I'm referring to myself in that way as well, because I have some kind of issue with saving money. It just like, I'm just like, why? It seems like a waste, but it's not. It's not. This isn't in preparation for becoming more self-sufficient, right? So for example, when it comes to finances, you could take a simple thing like, you eat out every day for lunch, right? You don't bring your lunch to work. You go out and eat out. So let's say you spend an average of $10 every day. Okay. That's $50 a week. That is $200 a month. that you're spending on eating out, which, quite frankly, isn't the most healthiest option. All right. So there's that. There's the health aspect of it. And the financial aspect of it is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It'd be so much cheaper for you to go to the grocery store, pick out some healthy options for your lunch, and get into a healthy routine and a healthy habit of preparing your lunch either the night before or that morning and taking your lunch to work and saving $200 a month, right? And in the process, probably improving your health. Let's be honest. It's that type of thing, right? Do we need to be spending $7 on a Starbucks coffee every morning? No. The answer is no. You don't need that. Is that a little luxury? Is it okay for you to go get a Starbucks once in a while? Absolutely. No big deal. I'm talking about those daily routines that we get ourselves into, and really taking a look at that, and really taking a look at the way that we're spending. In regards to refinancing your home or refinancing your car, those big loans that you're thinking, when you're in the mindset of, saving money and becoming more self-sufficient in the year 2020, a lot of people will consider refinancing. Be careful when it comes to that. Just make sure that the sometimes your loan officer or your lender is not going to focus too much on the fees that are taking place. In order to do that refinance, and you don't really notice it that much because it's kind of tacked onto your loan. Make sure that, that's great if you can refinance and get less of an interest rate or lower payments or whatever else. Just make sure that the fees that are being charged for that refinance don't go over and above what you're saving. Okay, because that kind of defeats the point, right? Doesn't it? So make sure in regards to finances also that you're getting like a couple of different opinions, right? Or a couple of different quotes, right? Do your research. It's really important to follow through and do your research this year. Even if you have professionals like professional financial advisors or professional doctors, make sure that you're doing your research and being accountable for those decisions, being accountable for your health, being accountable for your finances. Yes, we hire professionals because they are know more than us about these things, but it's really important to be informed and make sure that those decisions are coming from you and they're not being dictated by someone else. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about health. Health is a big one. We all know, like a lot of people have those New Year's resolutions, like I'm gonna get in shape. I'm going to go to, the gym. I'm going to start eating better. Eating better is a great aspiration. It helps us feel better. It gives us more energy. So, think about considering to eat more unprocessed foods this year, right? It doesn't have to be like a specific diet, right? That has a label to it. To simplify all of that, if you're eating unprocessed, natural, whole foods, the chances are, number one, you're going to lose weight, and number two, you're going to feel fantastic. So, it doesn't have to be so complicated. We don't have to label everything and try to find the right diet and all that stuff. Just, buy fresh produce, guys. Buy meat that, that doesn't have a bunch of added antibiotics and hormones and stuff like that in there. So you don't have to, get into this little game of rules unless that specifically helps you to do that. The other thing is, again, this is about consistency. So I don't necessarily recommend just completely jumping into something and completely like eliminating any type of food group. You want to be diligent where you're slowly starting to work in and allowing your body to get used to a new diet. The same thing goes with exercise, okay, you guys? You probably shouldn't go from like not exercising at all to saying, I'm going to exercise, 7 days a week. Number one, you're going to get sick. Have you guys ever noticed that? Like when you're like totally like amped up and ready to go to the gym and you start working out a lot, like a lot of times like people will get sick, and it's just because your body's not used to that. So instead of like putting your body in total shock, not to mention that if you haven't been exercising and your diet hasn't been the best, we have that a little bit of a lower immune system going on there. And if you're going to a gym, yes, I understand there's smoothies and you can wipe down everything, but there's a lot of bodily liquids going on there. I know that sounds really gross, but gyms can be very virus and bacteria prone just because a lot of people are in there sweating. We're just going to be frank about it. So, I mean, there's a lot of work you guys can even do if you're just starting out with an exercise routine. Instead of going and spending a bunch of money on a monthly gym membership, we have access to so much information online, you guys, with like Pinterest and Google and everything else. You can simply look up exercises to do at home. I mean, if you're just like really kind of starting to exercise, or if you're restarting to exercise, a lot of times you don't need equipment. You don't need machines. You can use your own body weight to do those type of exercises, and listen to some music at home and do some cardio. If you are the type of person who has the motivation to exercise at home, I know a lot of people, including myself, have a hard time. It's like once we get home in the evening, especially like if it's dark during the year, it's like, who wants to come in home and exercise? You put some like comfies on and you're done, so if that's the case, and you have a lot of stuff going on at home and you feel like you need to go somewhere specific for that being your time. So really good to get into health routines this year. I also suggest, even if you're feeling great and you have no reason to go to the doctor, I highly suggest you get those preventative annual exams. I highly suggest that you get a basic blood panel done, right? I mean, I went and got a basic blood panel done, and, I was feeling I was feeling fine, right? I didn't really have any other issues. And my blood panel came back and it showed that I was like anemic, like really anemic. And I didn't understand that. I didn't really understand what anemia was. I thought that was for like, skinny, pale people, but it turns out that a lot of women suffer with anemia, not even knowing it. So I had to start taking iron supplements, and the change that made in me in regards to my energy level, in regards to the way that I'm able to obtain information, is huge. It's phenomenal. And I never would have known. I never would have known if my doctor hadn't requested a general blood panel. So, I highly suggest doing something like that. Be preemptive with your healthcare this year. Go in, get checked out, see if you've got all the vitamins and that you need, and that you're getting the nutrition to stay healthy and energetic in order to achieve all of these good goals that are coming in for the year 2020. So let's talk a little bit about 2020 and its possible effect on relationships. I think that 2020 is going to be very eye-opening in regards to relationships, and here's why. Everyone's going to have their own specific goals, right? Things that they've been putting off that they suddenly have the energy and the motivation to achieve. So, in regards to partnerships, it's great to sit down with your partner and go over some specific things together, and see if you're on the same page as far as where you see yourself going as a couple, as a family within the next 10 years. Where would you like to be? And see if you can kind of sync up and see where you are together as partners, to see how you're going to accomplish this, and little things that you can do every day to maybe save a little bit more money, or just different things that you can do. But the important aspect of that is sitting down and sharing with each other, where, and not enough couples do this, right? Where are we going? And what can we do to achieve that? And the reason I say it could be eye-opening is because you and your partner, you guys might have a completely different idea in mind about where you want to go or where you see yourself. I mean, your partner could be completely satisfied with things just the way they are, but you're wanting a change, you're wanting something more, or you're wanting something different. So again, very eye-opening to sit down with your partner and go over those things. The other thing that's going to be very eye-opening in the year 2020 is we not only have goals that we want to accomplish as a family unit and as a partnership, but we have, again, those personal goals that each of us on an individual basis are seeking to accomplish. So what's interesting about this and what I love about this aspect is it kind of, I really feel like it's kind of going to break down some of those codependent relationships. I tell you what, guys, I have seen such a rise in codependent relationships. It's making me really, really nervous. It's not healthy. It's not good. My personal perspective is one of the reasons why people are getting into more and more codependent relationships is because of the fact that there's a little bit of a loss of face-to-face interaction and communication and community in general, right? We have advanced so far technology wise. I mean, how often do we really actually even talking to someone on the phone, right? A lot of things, even with family, are through text, stuff like that. So we're missing and definitely not kind of a breakdown of community because everything's so easy to do technologically. There's not as necessarily as much like human interaction, one-on-one human interaction, and we're missing that. I'm going to be quite frank with you guys. We're missing that. So even though technology is very convenient, I mean, it's a way for me to get this video out to a lot of different people are able to see it. Great. There's great aspects to technology, but we are missing a little bit of that human one-on-one contact, and it's essential. So what happens with codependent relationships is we don't have a bunch of like one-on-ones as much as we did before. And so we are having this one-on-one interaction on a regular basis with one specific person, right? That's where that specific person is feeding that interaction and that support that we would have been getting from a group of people. Now it's just one person that we have that daily in-person interaction with. And so it's very easy for two individuals to rely on each other so much because it's like, that's what you just do, right? And it's easy to do that in their lives. And I understand when you're in a partnership, of course, your lives are combined and there's compromise and working together and you're living your life together. But it's so important to keep those individual goals and those individual things that make you who you are. I mean, so many couples get so wrapped up in each other and what's going on in each other's lives that they literally forget who they are and what their niche is in the world, what they're here to do, and they forget themselves, and it's really unhealthy. There's usually in these codependent relationships one person who is a whole lot more needy than the other person. So for instance, if one person does have a little bit more individuality, knows where they want to go, has the energy to accomplish those things, and you have another partner who isn't quite so sure of themselves and doesn't really know what they want to do with life and doesn't understand what they want or what kind of future they see for themselves, they are more likely to latch on to the person who produces that type of energy because they don't have that for themselves. And it's not fair to either side because for the person who is trying to get things done and does have personal aspirations for themselves, they're so busy walking on eggshells and taking care of the other partner, and everything revolves around the other partner, that they don't take the time and the initiative to do those things for themselves. Okay. And it's not healthy for the other person who's codependent because they need to be able to stand up on their own and come up with their own energy and come up with their own solutions. You can't. Here's the thing. If you go into a relationship or if you are in a relationship relying on your partner to make you happy, to complete you in some way, you're going to be sorely disappointed, okay? Because that's too much to ask of someone. It's not that I'm saying like, as a partnership, the thing about it is you're supposed to lift each other up, right? You're supposed to support each other. but you're also supposed to be able to stand up on your own two feet because your partner also needs you to be the strong one once in a while, right? Your partner, even though they might seem very strong, also needs to be able to lean on you. So it's very mutual. And so it's really important to get into a relationship being a fulfilled person on an individual basis. I want to touch on something else really quick while we're on this subject. Moms. Moms, you guys are really, really bad. Not all of you. That's being stereotypical, but moms are nurturers. That's what they do, right? They're always taking care of everybody. Please, please, please set aside some time for yourself this year to create some of your own individual goals. And when I'm talking about goals, I'm not talking about goals for your family. I'm not talking about goals for your kids. I'm not talking about goals for your spouse. I am talking about specific goals that are specifically for you and have absolutely nothing to do with anyone else. Okay? I hope that you guys are hearing me when I say that. It's very important. I'm noticing a lot of, people around my age and friends my age are having their kids are going off to college, and they are like having some serious like empty nester syndrome. They don't even know what to do with themselves because their whole life has revolved around other people, so much to the fact that they don't even know who they are anymore when their children are not in the picture. Okay? Take care of yourself, because here's the thing, as a nurturer, if you're constantly giving, 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 and you're not taking time to refill your cup and refill your energy and refill your creativity, eventually, it's almost like there's nothing left to give, right? You're depleted. So in order for you to be the type of wife and mother that you want to be, and really, take care of people the way that you need and want to take care of them, you've got to take care of yourself. Super important. Here's the other, and that's what's going to lead into the other eye-opening thing when in regards to relationships. Especially if you are in a codependent relationship, right? So you and your partner need to make time and compromise in regards to personal goals that you have for yourself. An example, right? One partner decides, hey, I really need to work on my fitness. I need to start exercising. I need to schedule in some time for myself to do this, right? Well, if you have kids or you have a partner, that takes compromise, right? Because it might change the schedule a little bit. Say you want to go to the gym 3 days a week, right? Right after work. Okay, so that might require your partner to maybe pick up the kids, or maybe get dinner started or something like that, something that allows you to be able to go to the gym 3 days a week. Okay, so there's a little bit of compromise there, and vice versa, because your partner hopefully will have their own things that they want to do as well. So it's going to take a little bit of compromise on your part for your partner to be able to fit that in. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the eye-opening part of it. Here's the twist. Your partner can either be really supportive and be excited of the fact that you want to, do something healthy for yourself, and they're willing to compromise with you, and they're willing to do what it takes for you to meet your goals and uplift you and be what a partner is essentially supposed to be, a partner, right? Or the flip side, especially in codependent relationships, is that you are going to find that your partner is very unsupportive, that they don't like it because it interferes with their schedule. They don't like the fact that you have something going on that has nothing to do with them. That's a very codependent thing, right? If you start to notice that your partner is overreacting because maybe you decided to go back to school this year, you've been wanting to go back to school, and you're spending a little bit more time on homework, and you're having to spend a little bit more time going to classes. And that time is specifically for you because you've decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and finish that degree I've been wanting to finish, right? If you have a partner that is not supportive and that's complaining that you're not spending enough time with your family and that you're not spending enough time with him or her, it's going to be kind of eye-opening, right? in regards to someone just being a little bit selfish that way because they're used to getting all of your attention. They're used to getting all of your energy, so to speak, right? And that change is going to make them very uncomfortable, right? That's like a control issue a little bit. So keep your eye open for stuff like that. Keep your eye open. Just take a look at the way that your partner's reacting to some of the goals that you're bringing in. Like I said, I feel like this is going to be a very big exposure year for codependent relationships, like where you're like, whoa, something's a little bit off here, you know, which quite frankly is good. I'm sorry, it's not like I'm wanting anyone to have relationship problems or breakups or anything like that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But I think there's going to be a little bit of a realistic aspect come in this year in regards to, you know, equality in relationships and what's fair, right? Yeah, so super important to focus on that if you're dating this year, if you want to, if you want to find a partner this year, if you're single and you're looking for a partner. Again, just make sure that you and that partner, whatever kind of relationship that you're getting into, you know, have kind of similar goals and aspirations that you're wanting to reach towards this year. Because again, it's going to be very difficult if you have a partner where those goals don't align. It's going to cause some conflict. If you're single and you're not looking for a relationship, this is an excellent year to really focus in on things that you've been wanting to do, on your health, on your finances, and really working on fulfilling yourself. And so that way, when you are ready to get into a relationship, that you come to that relationship as a whole person. Let's dip back into finances again. I forgot to mention to you guys, not a good year for gambling, not a good year for risky stock investments, not a good year for risky anything. It's just a good year to settle in. Property is another earth type of thing, right? So not a good year to necessarily say, oh, you know, I'm sick of my yard. It doesn't look good. I'm going to hire a landscaping company to come in and redo the entire yard. If you already have the funds set aside to do that, and this has been a goal for a while, and it's not going to affect you financially in any other way, go for it. But if it's like a spur of the moment type of, oh, let's have someone come in and just redo all of this, right? Especially if you're going to put it on any kind of a credit, not a good idea. This is more about like hard work and working with what you have. So if you don't like your yard, I can tell you again, there's so much information available on the internet in regards to DIY projects. You know, specifically, there are so many different materials that you can buy that are cheaper, and it's about putting in the physical work and the physical labor, right? There are so many things that we can do to improve our property and do it ourselves. And maybe it takes a little bit longer. Maybe we have to, you know, put in more work on the weekend on specific things, watch sales, you know, on specific products and stuff like that. You know, watch videos on lawn care and specific plants or whatever that thrive in your zone, in your area. But yeah, I mean, you can do a lot of that yourself, guys. It's all about really taking what's available to you and working with it. Again, if you're trying to up the value of your property and you decide I'm going to go get granite countertops, right? Make sure you're really taking a look at every aspect of that. Take a look at the comps in your area, at what the other houses in your area are selling for, because you might decide to put all new high-end appliances and granite countertops, and you're thinking that's gonna like up the equity of your house or your property so much, but in reality your property value is also very restricted to what the house is selling around you are, you know. So again, if these are things that you've already put money aside for, you've already saved for, it's a plan, it's something that you're already doing, and you know that it's not going to put any kind of a financial burden on you, and or you're planning on staying in this house and it's just something that you want to do for, you know, because you want that, because that's a personal thing that you're wanting, go for it. I'm just saying, be a little bit frugal this year, be a little bit smart about what you're doing and where you're spending your money. So again, really, really dynamic year to really get some things done. And let me tell you what, when you start all these healthy daily routines, and you see yourself succeeding at them, your self-esteem is just going to like go through the ceiling, you guys. When you're able to tackle something you've been wanting to do, and you have the motivation, and you put in the consistency and the hard work, and you start to see some of those things come into to fruition, there's something that's so rewarding about that, and so satisfying about that on such a deep level. So I highly encourage you, and I have been encouraging you guys for the last couple of months, to take a look at what's no longer serving you, right, in the past year. Focus on what you want more of, and also add to that, looking towards a little bit longer term. Where do I want to see myself, and what are the daily things that I can incorporate in my life in order to get there? I have to mention that this type of energy brings a lot of change, okay? I know. I know that some of us aren't the best with change. It's intimidating, it's scary, we don't know what lies ahead. You guys, this year has a lot of change coming in, and that is going to continue. That is going to progress. So you're going to see a lot of change going on this year all around you, right? Just in society in general. Try to remain focused and positive about your personal goals that you're pursuing, and don't get so caught up in fear, all right? And the fear of change, and the fear of what you see happening around you, and the fear of what's going to happen in your personal life, because that disempowers you. It disempowers you. And so for those of us who have difficulty with change, and who like to just keep things the way they are, this could potentially be a very difficult year. Again, for those of you who have trouble planning and sticking to a routine, and this, you could even see some type of crisis this year. Here's the flip side of this energy, in regards to, relationships, in regards to being spontaneous and being frivolous. You could possibly see some type of crisis for that type of lifestyle this year. So that's the flip side of this energy. If you are, kind of fly by the seat of your pants, and you're not planning anything, you could feel like you're just running on a treadmill this year and nothing's getting done, okay? Because this year is really focused on putting in the work, and making the plan and sticking to it, and that consistency, all right? Again, a lot of change, just try to deal with it, you guys. It's going to happen regardless of whether you're prepared for it or you like it or not, okay? It's just one of those years, and it's a good time that this is coming in, that this is preparing us. There's one of the reasons, there's a very good reason why this energy is coming in, and it's coming in at the perfect time, at the beginning of this decade, okay? What this energy is trying to help us with is trying to help us become more self-sufficient, okay? There's an independence a little bit to this energy, and it's all in preparation, okay? We have, at the end of this year, at the end of 2020, we have Jupiter and Saturn moving into the sign of Aquarius. So what does this mean? Basically, let me break it down for you this way. For 200 years now, we have had these planets be in Earth signs, all right, in Taurus, or these are, and so the focus has been, or where the power has been for the last 200 years, has been on earthly things like machinery and coal and fuel, and that has been where the money has, and the power has been in those kind of industries, right? We are moving into Aquarius at the end of 2020. You might not see changes right away, but I have a feeling, it's going to happen pretty quickly. So what that means, in the next 30 years or so, we are going to see more of a breakdown of hierarchies. right? Higher governing bodies or corporations, right? Or just there's going to be a breakdown of that, because the people are going to demand it, right? People just in general, like planetary wise, are getting really sick and tired of being dictated to, okay? Following rules and regulations or even societal standards that really have nothing to do with them, right? Hey, there's this rule and regulation and it's in place for a certain reason, and I get that, but it's really not me. It's really not, doesn't really do anything for me. It's not good for me, and I don't want to do this. Okay. So you're going to start to see people in the next 30 years really kind to try to move away from hierarchies that are constricting their freedom and constricting their ability to live the life the way that they want to live it. Okay. So what happens when these hierarchies or these corporations, large corporations, start to get the feeling that people are doing that people are moving, are moving away from that, and they're just kind of like, not paying attention to it anymore. What you have, what happens is you have those hierarchies and those corporations and those higher powers really, really starting to put in even stronger regulations, even stronger rules, because they feel like they're losing control. So we're going to start to see this, like say, so if you work for a big corporation, you're going to start to see, your corporation start to really put some high standards and regulations and, really do this, do this, do this. And what's interesting about it, and this year in particular, it's going to start like this in 2020, where people are just going to say, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm going to look for a way to see if I can make some extra money. Maybe I'm going to do a side job, or maybe I'm going to take whatever my hobby is, and however I'm being creative, and maybe I'll make a little bit of money on it on the side, right? You're going to see a lot of that this year. A lot of entrepreneurs coming into the scene, very, very much Capricornian energy. And, as it turns out, I mean, maybe that little hobby that they thought was only going to be a little bit of extra money with the work and the diligence and the consistency that they're putting into that this year could eventually turn up to be their like source income, right? Where they don't even have to work for a corporation anymore. They can work for themselves and work their own schedule and run their business the way that they want to run their business without having to be dictated to. So you're going to see a rise in entrepreneurship for sure. Especially in the next decade, because again, people are just kind of getting tired of being told what to do. They want to live their lives by their own standards. We're starting to, as society in general, think a little bit more outside of the box, right? What works for you might not work for me. And it's especially when it comes to those societal norms, like, oh, by a certain age you need to be married and, have kids and the white picket fence. And some people are like, you know what? I don't want kids. Or, you know what? I just want a little cabin out in the middle of nowhere. That's what I want. Or, I'm okay being single. People are just, I feel like enough people are living like this where you don't have those as much of a societal pressure on you to be living your life a certain way, in a way that doesn't particularly work for you. So, we're going to see a lot of that in the next 30 years as we go into the age of Aquarius. Okay. So this year has a lot to do with the preparation of being more sufficient, not needing creditors, not needing loans, because we've figured out to live within our means and not live over our means in a way that we can afford to live simply and live happily and not owe our life to a corporation or a company or a bank or anyone else. Okay. So really exciting times coming up. Again, a lot of change, a lot of things being brought up, a lot of, things that we've been telling ourselves that are incorrect or just negligent are going to change, and we're going to be changing our perspectives on what we feel is a healthy way for us to move forward into the next decade. Really exciting stuff. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get to your monthly readings for the month of January. Hi Libra, happy January. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy New Year. I did something a little bit different this month. I went ahead and pre-shuffled the cards and pulled the cards in order or in an effort to save time, since the introduction on these readings was so longer than I thought it was going to be. So let's go ahead without further ado and take a look at the cards that we pulled for you for the month of January. First card we have out is the Three of Rods. Underneath that, we have the King of Cups. Next card out was the Knight of Swords. Under that, we have the Knight of Cups. Next card, Three of Cups, and underneath that we have Major Arcana card, the Devil. All right, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on here for the month of January. So first card out is the Three of Rods. So you guys are really waiting for your ships to come in here. You're really waiting and expecting a reward for the time and effort you've put into something, and you're anxiously waiting for that reward, for that celebration, for that accomplishment. Being clarified by the King of Cups, the King of Cups is someone who is emotionally stable. It's someone who has his emotions in check. He is a master over his emotions. He lets in emotions, and then he lets them flow out freely. So I think that's kind of what you guys are being asked to do a little bit in regards to this situation here. Whatever this is that you're waiting for, could be impatient for it. You know, I mean, if you look at the card here, the guy's just sitting on the shore, like waiting for the ship, like, come on, come on, come on, come on. You know, so I think that you guys, and whatever it may be, might be a little bit of an emotional aspect to it. There might be a romantic aspect to it. Maybe you're just kind of like, I don't know, just waiting for it, right? You know, it's coming in, you've put in the time, you've put in the effort, you know, and you're just kind of getting impatient. With the King of Cups is asking you to try to be a little bit more emotionally balanced. The Knight of Swords, which represents you guys, because you're a suit of swords, is rushing towards the Three of Rods. So there's an impatience here. You guys are definitely impatiently waiting for your ship to finally come in, right? This is a very quick moving energy. This is someone that just kind of goes in and conquers stuff. Again, that's how you're feeling, right? I feel like this month you guys are a little bit on edge, a little bit impatient, like, you know, let's do this. Let's get this going. You know, I've been waiting. I've put in the work. I've put in the effort. I've got my eye on that. I've got that eye on what it is that I want. I know what I want, and let's go. Let's go. But again, you know, the King of Cups is asking you guys just to try to, you know, to try to just breathe a little bit and stay calm and not get worked up. Underneath the Knight of Swords, you have another knight. You have the Knight of Cups. Okay, cups being the emotional suite. So this is can be representative of a romantic offer. Maybe that's what you're waiting for. Some of you maybe are waiting for a proposal. Could be, with that, where people get to the point where they're just like, okay, come on, what's going on? So you guys could be feeling like that's coming in and you're getting impatient for it and it's like stressing you out and you're just like, you're just ready for it. Could be in the month of January that you actually are offered a proposal with the Three of Cups. That's a possibility for some of you. I'm not going to say that's everybody, and this is a general reading. This is one possibility. Okay, the Three of Cups is a card of celebration. This is a card of celebrating with friends and family and a feeling of abundance and feeling a sense of belonging. Okay, so good card here, especially for the month of January. Underneath that, we have the Devil card. The meaning of this card is usually it's depicted as the addiction card, right? Anything that holds us or binds us, keeps us locked in place. Addictions, we think of addictions as like substance problems or anything like that, but we have all kinds of addictions. We have food addictions. We have addictions to negative thinking. But whatever the case is, it's just it's not good. And so let me explain to you like a couple of different things that I'm interpreting. I'm seeing a couple of different stories here. So bear with me. Some of these might apply to you and others, will not. Okay. But there's a few different stories going on here. So I want to hit all of them. Be careful this month, Libra, if you are single, of someone who approaches you and who is over romantic, okay? Someone who is really good with their words, they know how to say the right thing. This is someone who is in love with the concept of love, okay? And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad person or a player, so to speak, but because of the fact that the devil card is right next to him, this is someone making some kind of an emotional offer. This could just be someone who over romanticizes something, and just be careful of this person, because they're not grounded and they're like really not legit. Okay. So that's one thing that I have to say that is a possible scenario if you're single. Again, another possibility is the fact that you have been proposed to. You've accepted a proposal. It could be a reason why you would get together with friends and family for celebration. Okay? The fact, and this applies to a lot of you, regardless of what the situation is, but the fact that the Devil card is right underneath the Three of Cups, make sure you guys be really careful this month not to overindulge. Not to overindulge in alcohol, not to overindulge in food, not to overindulge in celebration. Okay, be cautious. If you guys watched the introduction part of this, talking about the energy in 2020 in general, this is not a year for overindulgence, okay, or flamboyancy. Or spur of the moment things, right? Without thinking things through. So those kind of activities could lead to possible crisis in the whole year of 2020. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, well, New Year's is coming up. What do? We go out with friends and we drink and everything like that. I want to really caution you guys to be careful and not overconsume alcohol or not overdo any kind of substance that would impair your thinking to the point where you make stupid decisions, okay? This is not the month, this is not the year to get in the car intoxicated and try to drive. Maybe there's been those times before where like, ooh, man, oh man, I drank a lot. I can't believe I drove after that. Wow, I'm surprised I made it home and ha ha ha, chuckle, chuckle. You know, it's not funny. It's not funny this month. It's not funny this year. You know, you may have gotten away with stuff like that before, okay? But the chances of you getting away with it this month and this year are slim to none. There's huge consequences, like I said, for doing stupid shit. For doing stupid, unplanned shit this month, and that includes drinking and driving. Chances are, this month, if you do that, this year, if you do that, you're going to get pulled over, you're going to get a DUI, or even worse, you're going to get in an accident, you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. So just be smart about it, you guys. I just seeing this Three of Cups on top of the Devil card like that, be super careful about overindulging, okay? So that is another thing that I wanted to bring up to you guys. Here's another scenario. If you are committed, you're in a commitment, be really careful. See, the Three of Cups can also denote a third party situation, a third party love situation, a love triangle, so to speak, okay? So if you're out celebrating with your friends and having a good time, and you should get approached by this character right here, just be careful, you guys. It doesn't go anywhere good, okay? It doesn't go anywhere good. So, you know, a third party situation for you this month, or watch out if you are single for getting involved with someone that may be with someone else. It's not like, you know, you're going to know that. I just want you guys to be cautious about who's approaching you this month, okay? I just feel like with this Knight of Cups right next to the Devil card, somebody's just, they're just icing on the cake, you know what I mean? But it's just for show. And there's no real intention behind it. And if there is, it's not really that good of an intention. So just there's some cautionary notes for you a little bit this month, Libra. I want you guys to try to keep your head on straight. I mean, that's what it really comes down to, right? Follow your intuition. If you get those pings, those red flag pings where something just feels a little bit off, somebody feels a little bit off, a situation feels a little bit off or makes you nervous, really pay close attention to those things this month. Other than that, you have some good aspects as well. You are waiting for your ship to come in. You are excited about things coming to you, you know, that you've worked on or that you've been waiting for. So you have that coming in. Follow this instruction of trying to keep yourself emotionally balanced, try to keep patience, realize that everything comes in at its own time and when it's supposed to. Now, I understand that, you know, logically we can say that to ourselves. Okay, it's coming, it's fine, it's coming, and it's on its way, calm down, you know, but that doesn't, you know, necessarily affect the way we feel. But you're being asked this month to concentrate and focus on that just a little bit. I mean, you do have the Three of Cups here, which is a celebration card with friends and family. It's a great card. It just makes you feel good. It makes you feel loved. It makes you feel like you belong. I mean, you have some good things coming here. You have some good opportunities. Just, you know, just be a little bit cautious. Yes, go enjoy yourself. Yes, go celebrate. Yes, go wait for those ships to come in that you've been waiting for. Absolutely. But just like don't overdo anything this month, okay? Don't overdo it, Libra. Let's take a look at what your guidance card for the month is. In lieu of the fact that we have a lot of Earth energy in the year of 2020, I decided to use a different deck for the advice card, and this deck is called Earth Magic. Has great images, and the author who describes the images on the card is just outstanding. So I'm going to pick a card for you guys, and then I'm going to read the description of the card directly from the book, so we get all the info we need on this card. So, Libra, January 2020. There it is. Let's see what you guys got. Fairies, earth magic. See if I can get this to focus. All right, let's take a look and see what it says. Bear with me while I look it up in the book here. Fairies. Okay, here we go. So first is going to be a description of the image on the card, okay, and what it represents. Fairies are nature spirits thought to be descended from the early tribes, particularly the Tatha and Danan, those associated with the goddess Dana, who once ruled Ireland, that inhabited the British Isle. Over time, these ancient people were conquered and displaced, and they fled to areas where humans didn't venture, ultimately becoming increasingly smaller and less visible in order to better hide themselves. Fairies have assumed responsibility for the plants and trees, or standing ones. They work with earth magic to take care of these beings, and if you ask, they'll help you with your garden or yard. They also have the power of enchantment and shapeshifting. Fairies appreciate it when we show them through our actions that we love the earth as much as they do, and consequently, they bestow a little of their earth magic upon us. So in regards to the advice, when it comes to this specific card, it says, you have the same power available to you as the fairies do. It starts with loving the earth through your heartfelt gratitude and appreciation, but more important, through your actions. The fairies can help you reconnect in a more intimate way with the earth, and all they require is your willingness to pay attention to the trees and plant life around you and demonstrate you care. Whether you live in a small space or have an expanse of land, make it a point to be especially attentive to your surrounding vegetation. Plant something, get your hands in the dirt, and do so with love and enthusiasm. Every flower, tree, or shrub you are tending is a living being, so treat each like you would a dear friend. Ask the fairies to help you take care of these friends, and you will be rewarded many times over. Interesting. So I happen to, really enjoy nature and plants, obviously. These plants were outside on my patio all summer, and I bring them in because, they wouldn't be able to withstand the freezing temperatures. So they come in every winter. And I try to do the best I can to take care of them. And that's the thing, okay, so at least up here in the northern hemisphere, it's winter right now, right? It's cold, and we don't get as much outdoor time as we would like. We're a little bit more indoor. So why not bring the outdoors in? Why not? Try your hand at it, Libra. If you don't have a green thumb, or, you've never really had plants, go get a couple houseplants. Get sturdy house plants, right? Where even if you forget to water them a little bit or something like that, or you overwater them, they're not going to freak out and die on you. Like ivy is a great indoor plant. Get some indoor plants that don't, need as much sunlight, okay, to survive. You can go to any, place or Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever and look for indoor house plants during the winter season. Not only does it make you feel good to plant something, you can pick a special pot for it that kind of goes with your interior colors. Maybe even like a big house plant, right? Like a palm or something like this one in the background. But yeah, it'll really, I don't know, make you feel not too bad about being inside, right? Plants create oxygen, getting your hands in the dirt. It makes you feel more grounded, okay? Especially with this energy of impatience I'm sensing a little bit with you guys, and kind of having trouble sitting still. A great way to help that would be able to, work with plants and work with dirt and everything, and just kind of bring that sanctuary inside, all right? Well, I'm interested to see what happens with you guys. Also, I wanted to let you know, effective January 1st, I will be accepting personal readings. All of the information on how to order a personal reading is going to be in the About section of my YouTube homepage. So I really hope that you guys have a terrific January. Have fun, be cautious, enjoy. Mwah. See you next time.